Hello and welcome. My name is Sophie and today we will learn how to fix and adjust colours of your art once it's been scanned into the computer. Today's class will be off the back of the Digitise Your Artwork series, which I will link above. So hopefully you will have already watched how to remove the white paper background if you work with smaller motifs. I'll link it here if you would like to watch it, but if your artwork is a full-blown piece, then you can stay right here with me. So why do we need to do this colour fixing? And the reason is the scanners perceive colours differently. It also depends on the scanning bed light, the colour of the paper it was painted on, and or sometimes the colour format the scanner is actually wired to. All these things can change the art piece's colour from its original naked eye to what we see on the screen, which can sometimes appear quite dull. So let's dive into Affinity and take a look at how we can fix this and also how we can go on to make more colour adjustments. Okay, so let's begin. So this is my scanned in artwork. I've opened it up inside Affinity, but as we begin, what we're aiming for is visual accuracy and consistency, not over-edited pieces. And this is especially suitable for watercolour, ink and coloured pencils as well. So one of the things I do is I ensure that I don't keep this white paper texture in the back. I will remove the motif from the background and then I'll start working on it. And I will give you an example as to why I do this. So if you click the adjustments panel, which is this little half moon at the bottom of your layers panel, and let's just go to recolor. If I were to recolor this, look what happens to the white paper. Okay, and that is one of the reasons why I remove my motif from this layer and I will create my own separate layer of like a faux paper texture background, which is this one, for example, which is a totally separate piece of paper, but it has the same effect as the watercolor paper, as you can see the toothiness of this grain. Okay, so as you can see, this scan is pretty like dull looking. It looks much nicer in real life. And this is because, like I said earlier, the scanners sometimes just perceive colors differently and they scan things in a little duller than I'd like. So let's move on. So this is the same art piece as this one, but with the background removed. And you can know this because of the checkered background. Now, if I go to my layers panel, you can see that I've got my signature and the paper texture background toggled off. But if I toggle them on, you can see that this is now on a nice, clean paper texture background. If you'd like to know how to do this, I will link the video up above. So let's go ahead. So the first thing that I work with is in fact the white balance. And that's because I'd like to make sure that the whites within my painting come up to what I believe to be the natural whiteness that it was originally. So let's go ahead and do this. And we go down to the adjustments level again, which is this little half moon at the bottom. So we just click white balance. It'll open up its own natural slider and we just focus on this white balance here. Now every art piece will be different, so I don't tend to make a preset with this. I will just do it with my eye and just eyeball it a little bit. So now if we were to slide it all the way to the left, it goes blue and this is the coldest. And if you slide it all the way to the right, it goes to the warmest. Again, these are also effects that you could add to your artwork if you so chose. But for now, I want to focus on making those whites a little bit whiter. So what I'm going to do is focus in on these little white bits here, which is the sort of the light reflecting on the lemons. And I'm going to put it to about -10, I think. It just gives it a little bit extra boost from the 0. As you can see, it's ever so slight, but it's enough. So I'm going to do, I think, 15. No, let's do 10%. Okay, and it's that easy, and click X. Now let's just zoom out. So as you can see on the layers panel, this has now created an adjustment level that sits on top of all of the other ones. And this is important to note, especially in future, because as you remember with the other one, it would affect everything underneath it. So what we want to do is make sure that this is only connected to this layer. Now, I don't particularly go back and change the white balance once it's done, so I'm going to actually merge these. So I click the right click on my mouse and I go to merge selected. And once this is done, I don't go back and change the white balance, okay? The next step that I do is actually go and look at the levels, which is the white and the black point. So let's go ahead and look at the adjustments levels and click levels. And as you can see here, we've got the black level and the white level. And if you do just like move the sliders, you'll see that they go polar scale. So the black, if you take it all the way to the right, it goes black. And if you take the white, hang on, let me just put that back. If you take the white all the way to the other side, it goes white. Okay. So let's go ahead and just make some small adjustments. Again, what we're looking for here is not over editing. We're looking for as close as we can get to the original art piece. Okay, so the black I'm just going to bump up a little bit because it brings out the green a little bit more. And the white level, again, I don't want it to lose the texture inside these little drops here. If we look a bit closer to this one, I don't want to lose the texture. As you can see, if I go like this, it loses the texture of that like paint swish. So what I want to do is maybe just even like a 98 or something really subtle. And that I think I'm happy with. Yeah. So then just click X. Now, this is something that I don't want to merge in with the other one. And what I want to do is just make sure that these start being grouped a little bit closer together. I think actually this looks pretty close to its original one. So as you can see, these in the layers panels, it's non-destructive. And this is what I love about Affinity. Nothing is destructive. But what I want to do is go ahead and just group these together. So we Command G. And I'm going to call this original. Now, everyone will have a different workflow, but I tend to either group this together or I will also merge these into one. So I don't have to ever touch the levels for the white and the black point or the white balance again. Okay, so that is my first step that I do when I start to edit my artwork inside Affinity. So let's move on to now the color adjustments, and this is really, really good fun. So I'm going to use my art print, which is the papaya, which as you can see, I've added it onto the faux paper textured background, and also I've multiplied it as you can see here. So it looks like it is directly on top of that faux paper texture. So the first thing I do when it comes to working with color adjustments, I always duplicate the original. So let's go ahead and do that. Click your layer in the layers panel, Command J. And as you can see, it's gone darker because we have just put it on top of the other one. And to just remove that kind of doubled look, you just turn off the visibility of the one beneath it. Okie dokie. So now let's click this one. And what I'm going to do is do a direct recolor. So let's do a recolor. Ta-da! So again, similar to what happened when we used the scanned one here, it recolored the white paper. This is what it's done here. And the reason it's done it is because I've added the layer directly on top of all the other layers. Okay, so to stop that happening, what you do is you group it. So let's select the color adjustment, click Shift and select the painting that we want it to directly impact and click Command G. And now you can see the white paper has turned white again because that layer is only affecting the group and the layer that it's directly on top of. Once you group them, they only affect what's within the group. Okay, so let's go ahead and just look at this again. If you find you've gone to this stage and you've lost the little slider, just double click on the icon thumbnail and it will reopen again. So here, this hue, you can change the color. Let's go to this blue. I like blue. And you can also rechange the saturation of that blue as well. So you can make it less vibrant or more vibrant depending on what your style is. Also, again, with the light and the dark, you can change, the style. So that's one way to go ahead and recolor an image, but you are recoloring the whole image. Okay, so let's click X. And you can rename the group by double clicking it and just put blue papaya. And then just close down the group. Okay, so let's say now we want to try the vibrancy and saturation. Let's just toggle off the visibility on the blue papaya and toggle visibility back on the original. And we're going to duplicate this. So duplicate it, turn off the visibility on the original, and then click that layer and go to adjustments. And we're going to do, let's go down to vibrance. And again, what will happen is if it's not in its own group and it sits above the original, it will affect everything that's beneath it. So let's go ahead and create that group. So Command G, and we're going to call this Vibrancy Papaya. The queen of the queens. I love papaya. Right, so let's open up that group and double click the Vibrancy tab, and we can choose again how vibrant we want it versus how saturated we want it. And again, you can overdo it if you really wanted to really bring out that kind of cartoony vibe. And, you know, if you wanted to as well, and you had like a series that you wanted to all have the same sort of vibrance and saturation, you can go ahead and create preset. And then for every art piece that you want it to have that same levels of vibrancy or saturation, you just add that preset. Okay, so let's just click out of that, and then you can see here we've already got 2 different styles of our one art piece. Okay, and the last one I wanted to show you, which is I think one of the funnest, is the black and white. So let's go ahead and duplicate that original layer, Command J, turn off the visibility on the original. I'm going to go ahead to adjustments and click black and white. Now, black and white means that it will make everything black and white, obviously, but it will also change the blacks and the whites within the colors that you have inside your painting. For example, red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and magenta. Now, in my painting, I know that I've got a lot of green. So if I turn this green slider down, you can now see how it's accentuated the greens as blacks or as lightness. Okay, so I really like this because you can see the texture. Now, I also have some sort of skin tone for the papaya, which is kind of reddy. So if I now go up to the red and I click this all the way to the 300% mark, it almost like creates a very cartoony vector of the papayas themselves. And I actually really like this because it creates such a contrast between the texture of the brush in the background and such a real, like, you know, cartoony, vectory graphic in front of that. So this is a great way to create different sort of styles, different vibes, gives you different feels about a painting. And I really love this black and white adjustment. But again, what you'd want to do is make sure you group this. So by selecting and clicking Shift, those 2 layers, and then Command G, you group it into this black and white. Okay, so this is really, really good. And I think it's enough for you to get started and start to feel your way around the white balances, the recolorations, the vibrancies, and the black and whites. But feel free to keep playing with all these adjustments because you really can create so many different moods and styles. So folks, this is the workflow that I generally work through when I'm uploading my art into the computer. In another tutorial, I will go deeper into masking certain areas to change the color and how to use the flood tool to select specific color ranges. You can go on to create so many different variations and styles with just one art piece, which is why this is so much fun to learn. If you know how to remove the individual elements from the paper, I'll link this above, then you can go on to create brand new designs, patterns, and much, much more. If you want to sell your art on any marketplace, then learning how to create aspect ratios will be a great place to start. I'll link the video above where I explain all about them and then how to make them. So thank you so much for watching. I share all my tools and useful templates in my link tree, which is in the description below. So if you found this video helpful, then hit that like and subscribe button. It really allows me to understand what you find useful and what content I can create to better serve you. So as always, go beyond and create within.